Hello everyone, my name is Sheel, and in this video I am going to talk about the new AWS service which is managed Cassandra, call it serverless Cassandra, better known by the name Amazon Keyspaces. Now, this is such a boon for developers, aspiring developers and enterprises, especially in this era of big data, where you can directly get down to your application development without having to worry about infrastructure. And this is where serverless architectures score really big. They take a lot of load off of enterprises to get their infrastructure up and running before the application development can start. So AWS already has another NoSQL database, which is also serverless for that matter. That's the DynamoDB database, and now they have made provisions for Apache Cassandra as well. So what does it really take to move a Cassandra database running in an on-prem environment to cloud? Well, you'd be surprised to know, and that's the beauty of a serverless architecture, and that is that it does not really take anything. All you have to do is to take your tables out from move your tables from the data center, from your on-premise environment into the cloud. That's all it takes. And then you have to decorate it with all sorts of authentication and security, obviously, because it's a cloud environment. So in this video, I am going to show you a small tutorial on how to get your Amazon Keyspaces, how to create your first keyspace and your first table in Amazon Keyspace, and how to connect to Amazon Keyspaces to get your code running in the client. So let's get started. So I am on the Amazon Keyspaces homepage, and I am simply going to go by what Amazon Keyspaces asks me to do. So I'm going to get started, and I have already created a keyspace and the corresponding table in that keyspace, but that should not stop me from talking a bit about what this does. It's pretty intuitive. For those of you who are familiar with Cassandra, they would know what this means. So the first step is to create a keyspace, which is like it's just like a database or a schema. It creates a keyspace if it does not already exist by the name tutorial keyspace, and the replication strategy is single region. Pretty intuitive again. It's going to be within one single region, and then once the keyspace is created, the next step is to create a table in the keyspace. You provide the primary key, which is a combination of partition key and clustering column. In this case, there's only one field, which is email, which becomes the partition key, followed by two other fields called name and age. And once you have this, you are ready to insert the data. That's all it takes. It's as simple as that. So just to give you a tour of what the Amazon Keyspaces console looks like, here is the keyspace that I created. Here is the table. If I click on the table, I see a summary of what this table looks like. I have the partition key. I do not have a clustering column. I have the three fields in one place. And all I can do from here is to query the table. And if I click on the run command, I should be able to see the records that I had inserted earlier. So this is the tour. This is a very short tour of the Amazon Keyspaces. And the next thing that we are going to do is to connect to Keyspaces from a Java program. So we are going to set up the Java program to be able to connect to Amazon Keyspaces. What is required for that? One is authentication. Two is the SSL certificates, the TLS certificates. Three is the drivers in place, and four is the code itself. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is, as a first step, I am going to go to IAM users, and I'm going to create a Cassandra user for myself. I'm going to grant it programmatic access only. I'm going to attach existing policies directly to it. Let's say Keyspaces, because our CAS user has to interact with Amazon Keyspaces. I'm going to grant it full access because it needs to be write data as well as read data. I'm going to click on next and I can create the user. I'm not really bothered about this. I can close this and I click back on Cassandra user, go to the security credentials, and pretty much like AWS code commit, for those who are familiar with code commit, we have a similar way of generating credentials for Amazon Keyspaces. The moment you generate one, you need to make sure that you download the credentials and not lose it, because you'll not be able to recover it, but you can go and reset it. So you can reset it. With this in place, we are done with the authentication part of it. All we have to now do is download the certificates from Amazon to connect to Amazon Keyspaces, convert it into a trust store file. Now, for those of you who do not know what a trust store file is, it's different from a keystore file, assuming that you are familiar with keystore files. A keystore file stores the private key along with the certificates for with their corresponding public keys. A trust store file simply stores the third-party certificates which the client is supposed to use purely for the purposes of secure communication. So that's what the difference is. So that's what we are going to do next. I am going to download the certificate from Amazon next. So I am now on my EC2 instance. I've SSH'd into a machine and I have my instructions with me to download the certificate and convert it into a corresponding trust store file. So I'm going to run this command and I get my Amazon certificate. I'm going to convert it into a trust store file. And I'm going to finally cover it with a password, authenticate it. And I'm going to download it to my machine. So there is it. The certificate is generated. All I need to do is to download it to my machine and configure my application to use this certificate along with the credentials that I generated moments back. So we do that next. Okay, so here I am. I have downloaded the trust store file to my machine. Step 1, configuring the application to use my trust store file, which is over here. Second is configuring my application to use the authentication details that I had generated a short while back. I had created the CAS user. So the credentials that I had generated go in over here. So I have downloaded that file. All I need to do is it just consists of a username and password, and I just need to replace it over here. With that being done, the only two things that are left that we are left with is the Cassandra dependencies, driver core, query builder, and the mapper runtime. So that's pretty much all it takes. And the last thing is the code itself. So I am going to just configure my username and password, and I'll come back to running this application. Okay, so now I have configured my application.conf file to use the trust store as well as the credentials. I am good to go, and I can now run this file, this application, to connect to Amazon Keyspace, and let's see if we get the records that we had generated there. That's from the tutorial Keyspace and the tutorial table. So there you go, john@example.com, 21 John. That's exactly what we had done over there. So that's all for this video. Please let me know if there are any questions. Please let me know if there is something wrong that I have done in this video. It's always good to know the right way to go about things. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Keep watching out for this space for more newer videos. Thank you so much. Bye.